Welcome to the Tech with Heart webinar with Carden. She's very gracious to come on here and teach us and show us how we can begin attracting higher value clients. That's the name of the game. Rather than going for a volume model, let's go for a premium model right out the gate. And if premium doesn't sit well with people, we can offer them more a la carte services. But what she's going to share today, I am so excited to bring to you, the Tech with Heart entrepreneur audience. Let me introduce Carden to you as far as her background so you understand why she's so qualified to be able to speak about this topic. She is a strategic business coach and marketing consultant. Her business is called Carden Inc. And she's also a best-selling author and a speaker and has her own podcast called The Strategic Edge. She has more than 40 years of business, marketing, and sales experience, and she has spent 13 of those years in corporate business management, managing multi-million-dollar departments for a multi-billion-dollar national retail corporation. She started her first business over 30 years ago, and she has founded and built 6 highly successful businesses for herself, selling 5 of them. So she kind of knows what she's talking about here. She has also trained and educated thousands of business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals through speaking, workshops like this, seminars, and social media channels. So welcome to the Tech with Heart webinar, Ann.
Thank you again. Thank you again. I'm going to make one correction that I should have changed for you, but I just changed the name of my podcast. So it is called Expert in You, and it really is around my new brand, like around my best-selling book. And so I made that shift after a year in that podcast and decided to go more along with my whole brand online. So yeah, just to correct that. Now, if you go to Strategic Edge, you'll still get to Expert in You, but it is changed. So I don't want to confuse anyone.
Wonderful. Well, why don't you go ahead and get started? I know that you spoke at our last Empower meetup, which was fantastic. And there was a lot of opportunity for us to give and take a little bit through that conversation. And I'm assuming that we will indeed open it up for Q&A at the end of this presentation. Will you?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. You want to go ahead and get started as far as like why you know this is such an important topic?
I will. So I am going to, can I share my screen? Am I able to share my screen?
You should be able to.
Okay, perfect. Let me get to my PowerPoint here. Okay. Make sure I don't have narrations playing here. I've done that before. Okay. All right. So I'm going to actually walk you through just the 5 steps to attracting and closing higher value clients. To make more money while working less. So this is really my process called Expert in You Business Accelerator and Freedom Method. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm just going to walk you through the 5 steps. And this is really a webinar that I put out there. So you're going to see some client results and things through this because this is one of my lead magnets that I have out there. But just think about this. What if you could land your very next client for 3 to 10 times more than what you're currently charging, or you can make your next sale for 3 to 10 times more? What would that do to your business? How would that impact your cash flow, which is a really, really important piece, obviously, of growing a business? One of my clients, Curtis, is a marketing consultant. And when I started working with him, he was charging $3,000 for his top tier offer. And we were able to 10 times that, make that a $30,000 offer. He was actually a branding consultant. And within 45 days that we worked together, he closed his very first client. And then over the next 12 months, he grew his business by more than 500%. But the great thing about that was he also got back 20 hours a week into his life. He was really struggling in his marriage, and like entrepreneurs can fall into working a lot of hours, long hours, and their spouse a lot of times can't understand what they're doing all of this time. And that was Curtis, and he was exhausted. So this was such a game changer for him because it gave him his life back. He now had a strategy that he could put in place. And this was why he was able to grow his business so rapidly, because he was just selling those more premium services, and it just changed everything. So when I talk about doing this in your business, often it's life-changing for people. And that's really where my heart and my passion come from with this whole strategy. Also Carlos, it was a business coach, and we were able to 5 times his fees, and he booked his coaching solid. He had a successful insurance company, but he was trying to build a coaching income stream on the side, and it really wasn't going very far. He wasn't making a lot of sales. He was getting the wrong clients. And when we changed everything, his offer and changed his fees, again, everything just took off. He booked it out. He filled it. He couldn't take on any more clients, and he got his income stream to where he wanted it to go along with his other business. But most people would be really surprised to see just how close they are to having a business where they can exponentially increase their revenue and their income while you work fewer hours. So I will tell you this, I'm not one to sit here and just read this. So I will kind of give you, my own version of this as well. But so here's my big promise to you. In the next 29 minutes, which is about how long this will take, I'm going to show you the 5 elements and shortcuts that I have discovered through the years, trying everything out there. And this is the process that I came up with. So I'm going to show you how to make faster financial leaps by selling higher value clients, contracts, and this could even be services. So maybe you don't really have clients, maybe you're selling some sort of a product. I have done this with all kinds of businesses. So this strategy will work with anyone. But how to really be able to 3 to 10 times more what you are doing to grow to higher levels while working less. You'll be able to see what I've done in my business and how I've helped my clients grow to multiple 6 and 7 figures while they have more freedom to enjoy their success. And I very quickly always want to make a money and results disclaimer to let people know that just because you watch this obviously doesn't mean that you'll have the same results that my clients have had. But these are great strategies that, again, will work in almost any business.
Anne, I just want to interrupt you hello for a second, because if you're sharing your screen, we're not able to see your screen. We can hear you fine.
Oh, you're not seeing anything?
We can definitely hear you fine, and it's been great. But if you are able to try again.
Hold on, let me see. I apologize. I'm glad. Let me try that again. Wow, okay. You've been missing the whole thing there.
Well, no, we're not missing the whole thing, because you're like I said, we're hearing you. So it looks like it's starting to share your screen, but it's still black at the moment.
Okay, let's just wait. We'll give it a second here.
Okay, now we see your PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to make it bigger too, so you can, so let me know. Hold on one second. Can you see it now?
Yes, everything is good now. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, let me back that up. So this was Beth, and Beth was an energy practitioner and healer, and we tripled her fees, and she was able to close 3 new higher ticket clients within 45 days of doing this. So it typically doesn't take a real long time to get these things in place. If someone's already got something going, it can actually happen very, very quickly. And the great thing about this too is it really gives people a real focus in their business when we dial in all the different steps. So, which I definitely will walk through with you. So I want you to know too, that all of these clients implemented my strategies to accelerate their growth and have clients pay them what they ask and they deserved. So this isn't a get rich quick strategy. You have to do the work, you have to implement, but it is one that works really, really well. And then this just basically, again, tells what I do. And it's really, I help people scale their business in a nutshell. That's what I do. But mostly I work with clients who want to get to that multiple 6 to even multiple 7 figures. So typically under $5 million is sort of my sweet spot with clients. But I've worked with clients, that Curtis, for example, when he started his business, he had been in it for 3 years, and I don't think his business had even broken $50,000. So to all of a sudden give him a $30,000 offer and take him to, a 500% increase for that year, that was very significant for him. So why do many coaches, consultants, and professional service providers struggle to make the money that they want? And the reason is, again, a lot of poor advice. There's a lot of poor advice out there. I was taught all the same things, and that often gives them a lack of money and it gives them a lack of time. So the two things that cause entrepreneurs, service providers to fail or to burn out is they either run out of money, they don't have the money to even be able to stay in their business. A lot of times they end up going back and getting jobs. The other thing is they just get exhausted. They just become exhausted. It is a busy, crazy world out there. And the one reason that I talk about, premium versus low ticket is because I think low ticket worked very, very well back in the day when it first started, when it first happened, but now I think it's a grind for most people. So let me just share the strategies for that. So some of the poor advice that I was given as a business coach, and I could go into even more things, but things like give away your services for free. And then as people get results, you charge them. So this was actually something that was being taught in a coaching organization. And they said, lead with value. Well, lead with value, in my opinion, means get out there and do things like this, share with people your expertise and your knowledge. I do not think you have to work for free. And I have spent a lot of years learning what I've learned, and I have invested a lot of money to learn what I've learned. And most of the people that I work with are in that same place. And so to give everything away for free, and then when you get people results, you charge them, I'm just not a believer in that. The only people that stay broke in that situation is you. And there's enough opportunities to give back. And I always teach people, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first, and then you are in a place to be able to give back and do nonprofit things and all of those kinds of things. Also sell multiple products, courses, and services to give clients many ways to work with you. I don't think this is a bad strategy, but I teach one core offer, which I'll tell you about, and then you build out from there. Often people go down a lot of rabbit holes. They're chasing shiny objects. They're trying to sell too many things, and it's why they don't get any traction. And I will tell you, I've worked with coaches that taught this, and it took me off course. It took me down the wrong path, and it was really exhausting. Also, a lot of things that are being done out there are 5-day launches and challenges, build a community, and then sell your offers. Again, nothing wrong with these strategies, but they're exhausting. You run into a lot of competition with these types of strategies, and all of these strategies are really targeting lower value clients. I will tell you, ultra premium clients do not show up for launches. They don't get into challenges. They rarely spend any time in Facebook groups unless it's their own. They just don't have the time. They have things going on in their business. So these types of strategies don't work well with higher end services. Create passive income like a low ticket course and then run consistent ads. Passive income is not passive until you can have the cash flow and the money to be able to pay people to do it for you. That's when it becomes passive. It's never passive until it gets to that point. And a lot of people are taken down this path. I was taken down this path. I bought into all of this. So when I speak from experience, and the clients that I work with come to me and they've also done many of these things that just was not getting them to the goals that they had. Also taking on hundreds of clients at low fees in a group, membership, or community. Again, these are great strategies, but I teach that these should be one of the last things you add to your business, not building a business this way, not starting your business this way. So most of these strategies require a lot of time, a big audience, a team, or spending a lot of money to drive traffic, and often with low or mediocre results. So this is the value ladder. Most of you have probably seen this. I call it the Russell Brunson method, but I don't think he coined it. I think it's been around forever since online marketing. I don't know. Let me see if I can move this for you to see. But this is really where you start with something low. So maybe you're running ads, you're selling a book or programs, memberships, Tripwire, something along those lines. And then the idea is to ascend people into your high ticket or your premium services. And then you have a mid-ticket offer in there. All of this is great. The problem is it is a grind to get people to high ticket. And here is what I have personally found from doing this for many, many years, and also with my clients, is most low ticket clients will never become ultra premium clients. So they might One of the reasons this strategy works is people will bring somebody in, say a $7 something, and then they might scale them to get them to become a $2,000 client or maybe a $3,000 client, but they'll never become a $50,000 client or a 25, very seldom a $25,000 client. So it's a very, very slow path and it doesn't work well for, again, high-end clients, premium clients. High-end clients don't go through funnels. They don't buy this way. They will literally come across you and they'll see that they're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen you before. This is exactly what I'm looking for, exactly what I need. And literally they will book on your calendar. They will go check you out behind your back. You will never know they even exist until they are on your calendar or they inbox you or they email you. And so they just don't buy like this. They don't go through funnels and things like that. A lot of people don't realize that. Whoops. So this is really a complicated business model for a lot of people, and it requires technology skills, funnel skills, great marketing and copywriting skills, and being an expert at ads that will convert. Or you need to invest a significant amount of money to hire the right people. And I will tell you, I tried, again, all of these things, hiring the right people, and that also burns up a lot of money and can waste a lot of time and energy, because it is hard often to know the right people to hire. Or you'll hire someone thinking that they can help you, but then you get into that relationship with them and you realize there's missing pieces. And I ran into that a lot as I was trying to build my business this way. Another thing that we see is, and this happens more with consultants, is they sell their services by the hour or by the day. So they're doing a time for money model, or they're selling their services a la carte. And a lot of them also do proposals. So service providers do proposals. A lot of coaches do, a lot of consultants do. And they spend endless hours writing and emailing a proposal. I remember one day I was in a Clubhouse room. I don't know if you all are on Clubhouse, but I was in the room and there was someone in there and we were talking about sales. We were talking about proposals, and a little gal came onto the stage to talk. And she said, I send proposals out endlessly and then people say they can't afford. And so I said to her, what are you selling? And she told me she was doing an Instagram program or social media. And I said, what are you selling that for? And she said $3,500 or something like that. And I said, you don't need to even send a proposal for something like that. Proposals are what you send after you've already closed the sale. And a lot of people make this mistake. They try to close a sale with proposals, and a proposal is like the final step to just go over what you're actually going to be doing with the client. So a lot of people have the whole proposal process backwards, and they don't have the right process in place. And it's why they burn up a lot of time and energy. So building your business using these methods are absolutely exhausting. And again, been there, done it. And so have most of my clients. It takes money and it takes cash flow to build a business. And the one thing that I know is that you probably didn't start your business to barely get by or to stay overworked. And yet this happens over and over again with people as they fall into sort of that low ticket trap that is out there. So all of these things kept me busy. I used to say I had a busyness, but they didn't help me make the money I wanted. And I was so burned out from working with low value clients and the hustle and grind from doing these things that I almost quit my business. And this is really significant to understand because I'd already built 5 businesses. So it's not like it was my first rodeo. It's not like I didn't have the right mindset. I just couldn't crack the code. I could not figure out, how can people even stand this and do this? Low ticket is so great when you've got a big audience, you've already done all the heavy lifting and you've got people that are following you, and now you can add that on. That's, to me, when it works the best. So how about you? What are you doing in your business? Are you selling premium services, or have you fallen into some of these same strategies and tactics really that are also being taught out there? So I want you to know it's not your fault. It is all over. It is what is taught, but you also don't know the 5 elements and shortcuts that I'm going to show you today that can really help you change your business model and change what you're doing, and just not only give you a more enjoyable business, but give you more money as well. Are you all still hearing me and everything? Is everything still good?
You are good to go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So how can you make bigger financial leaps and get more freedom? And yes, hey, this is me skydiving a couple of years ago. I didn't throw money out of a plane. I just want you to know that, but you can get bigger leaps. And so that is what I'm going to teach you today. So using my expert in you accelerator and freedom method, you can simplify your business and multiply your money to scale with higher ticket offers and clients working less. So what I do is I have flipped the value ladder upside down. I am a big believer you start high and then you back build low. So that means you still have other things that people can buy into, but they're not a disconnect from what your premium offer is. And you put them into something. If they're not in the place to afford your premium service, you can downsell them, or you can put them into something that maybe is a better fit for them. So a lot of times if I get someone that comes to me and I know that they're just not ready for me yet, I can still sell them my book, right? I can still send them to Amazon to get my book, or I can sell them some other small thing that I have. But I don't have to be promoting that. I don't have to be out there trying to sell that and then only getting clients for those low ticket things. Once I created and implemented this, it actually quickly catapulted my business into multiple six figures. It's been consistent and predictable, and I teach my clients the same things. And that's important to me because, as you can see here, I love to travel. I love to do fun things. I love adventurous things. And it takes money to do that, but it also takes freedom to do that. And I do not want to live in my business. For many, many years, I lived in my businesses. And when I came online, in fact, when I first started my coaching business, I worked with clients only locally, and I would go into their business and I would help them grow their businesses, and I would meet with them in their businesses. And once I discovered the online world, I quit doing that. And I said, I am going to live the life of freedom. And, now I can work from anywhere in the world. We've traveled all over. And this is important. It's important to know what you want your business to be and what you want to accomplish with your business. So you have to set that goal. You have to have that vision. And then from there, you reverse engineer. What does that look like? And what do you need to have in place? But the great thing about selling premium services, and I will tell you, I've done this for 30 years. I did this in one of my very first businesses. And that's where I actually learned this idea that it moved my business forward. It gave me bigger income. It was the thing that literally grew my businesses. It wasn't the volume stuff that grew my businesses. It was the premium stuff that grew my businesses and gave me the extra money to keep growing and keep moving forward, and even to keep expanding. So it's a really important thing to understand the difference. But I love this. It takes money to do this, and it also takes freedom. And then these are my triplet grandkids that I just got back from seeing. They just turned 5 last week, and they are also a big reason why I have to have freedom in my business. I want to be able to go and see them, spend time with them. And I don't have to work 80 hours a week in my business. And I see a lot of people out there doing that. So I don't have to hustle and grind. I work hard in my business, but I'm very focused and I'm very driven, and I'm very productive, but I also know what works. And so that in itself just streamlines everything you're doing. So let's take a closer look at the 2 ways to build a business. And I really just want to show you the math and the difference, because I think there's obviously nothing speaks as powerful as the numbers. So the old way is the volume method. And like I said, I think this really worked many, many years ago, before everybody came online and before it was so competitive. And, there were millions and millions of people on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So the old way is selling low ticket, a la carte, charging by the hour, charging by the day. But it's a more complicated business model. And the other thing people don't realize is that it's lower profits. It takes, it's less freedom. It takes a bigger team, and it's more to manage. There's a lot that goes into running a volume business. If you look at the numbers, a volume business, a $500,000 business, even if you're selling something for $500, you need 1,000 people to hit a $500,000. And the thing that I want to share too is that you have unlimited opportunity being in your own business. You're not in a job, you're not an employee, your paycheck isn't written for you, you get to write it. And so the business model and everything that you do in your business will determine how high you can go in your business. But there are literally no limits. People are making billions of dollars in their own business, and I'm a big believer that business builds wealth. So if you don't think about your business that way, I hope that maybe if you leave with nothing else today, you'll start thinking differently. And like Michelle is doing this nonprofit, you can't do that if you can barely feed yourself. You can't do that if you're trying to figure out how to pay your electric bill. But when you can build a business beyond what you need, now you are in a place to make a bigger impact in the world, give back. Again, it goes back to put the oxygen mask on yourself first and get yourself in a place where now you really can give back to the world and make a bigger impact. So if you look at this, even if you're selling something for $2,000, which is what a lot of people consider high ticket, you still need 21 people a month at $2,000. That's a grind. So the new way is really the high ticket method or the premium method. And this is, again, a much simpler model. It's higher profits, it's more freedom, it's less team, and it's less to manage. And so if we look at that $500,000 business again, look at the difference. If you're going to sell something for $200,000, might sound crazy to you, but there are businesses out there that do this. I helped a client do this. She was coming out of corporate. She had all of this brilliance, and she was in the IT space and the tech space, and she saw a gap in the market, and she was getting ready to retire, and she wanted to start a consulting company, and she didn't know how to put all the pieces together. And when she came to me, she said, I need help putting this together, figuring out the model, all of that. Her minimum offer was $200,000. That was the minimum. Now, I knew that we were low with what she was going to be offering, but she was coming from an employee mindset. So I knew we had to get her started. So one of the things that I did is I said, I want you to go out to the people that you already know in your market, the relationships that you've built, and I want you to ask them if this is something they would invest in. And long story short, she had a waiting list before she even launched, before she even retired and launched it. And she had someone say to her, Janine, if you get this going, I will want to probably buy this from you in a year, and it will be over $1 million acquisition. So this is something she never dreamed about. She never gave thought to. She didn't even know it was possible. And this is what I find over and over again. People do not even realize what is possible in their business. It literally is just shifting your mindset to know that you have so much value. It just, it comes down to the strategies that I'm going to share. So when you do this, you can hit your income goals. You can charge for things you haven't been charging for. You don't have to give away all of your services. You'll be able to sell consistent multiple 5- and 6-figure clients and contracts. You'll get out of overwhelm and complication. You'll have more freedom. And here's the thing, you're working with fewer clients. So that's where a lot of the freedom comes in. You don't need a lot of things to work with 10 clients at $25,000 each. It doesn't take a lot to be able to manage that. Also, you'll find that it's easier to close higher value clients than low. And a lot of people don't realize this, but it is. And I think I even talked about that the other day. You'll have more cash flow and predictability in your income and your revenue. And you can't do anything without money in a business. So even if you want to start a nonprofit takes money. It takes cash flow. And so there's nothing that happens without money. The other thing about this model is it's more rinse and repeat, and it's easier to scale. So you can now hire a small team, you can automate. Those are some of the steps that I also teach clients to, again, give them more freedom in their business. So I do believe in technology, I do believe in automation, but I don't believe in complication, and that's the difference. So what are the 5 elements and shortcuts? We're finally getting to them. First of all, shortcut number 1 is your offer. It's your value system. This is the foundation of your entire business. What are you going to sell that's going to be that premium service that can bring in those premium clients? Now, you need to think about a compelling and irresistible, high perceived value offer. that your perfect clients really want, and they'll happily pay you what you're asking. And this is difficult for most people to figure out. And I will tell you, this was very difficult for me to figure out, because there is almost nothing that I can't help someone with in their business. I mean, I've worked in over 50 different industries, hundreds and hundreds of business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants. I know a lot about business marketing and sales, but online, you have got to streamline. You can't be selling yourself out there for everything. I can do cash flow turnarounds with people in 30 days. I can do profit turnarounds with people. I can help people fix their marketing. I can help people fix their sales process. But if I'm out there trying to sell all of those things at one time, I'm not going to resonate with anyone. And so you've got to pick something that's very compelling and irresistible, and it has a high perceived value. So for example, if I am helping you get $100,000 clients, $50,000 clients, what would that be worth to you? What would you be willing to pay to be able to land those types of clients? And so this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about a high perceived value. They have to see that it's a no-brainer. Most coaches and consultants have weak offers, and they don't understand how to increase the value and make their offer irresistible. They also don't clearly understand how to package the value so that they provide it in a way that it allows them to charge more premium fees or stop charging by the hour or the day. I've done this with CPAs. I've done this with a lot of different service providers to help them just restructure how they are selling things to get those bigger shots of revenue. And I'll share a couple of stories with you as we go through here as well. This was Amy. Now, Amy had actually fallen into the 90-day solo coaching package with another coach. Most of the clients that come to me are actually already working with someone, to be quite honest, or they have been working with someone, but they're not hitting their goals. And so Amy was being taught to sell something for $3,500. She had all of this amazing background and experience, but she was trying to build a business for the first time. And when she came to me, she was frustrated because she was cutting her prices. She even talks about this. I was cutting my prices to get clients. And then the clients that she was getting didn't understand the value that she was providing. And she was consistently feeling like she was dragging them around. They weren't implementing, they weren't getting the results. And she was really frustrated. When she came to me, we quickly structured something new for her. She went out to her LinkedIn network. She connected with someone that she knew, and she had a conversation with them, and they said, we would like to hire you. She came back originally with an offer that she said, I'm going to send this proposal to them for $10,000. I knew you were going to tell me to double it. So I'm going to do 10,000. And when I looked at it, I said, Amy, this is a $50,000 offer minimum. So we restructured the proposal. When she actually made the video, she talks about it. They closed it for $45,000, but then after she made the video, they came back and they added another $3,000 to it. So it was 13 times more than she had was making on a client. And she made more with that one sale than she had made her previous 3 years put together. So that's how fast this can happen. And that happened within 2 weeks of us working together. Now, Amy came with the knowledge and the expertise and the skill set. So it was just a matter of showing her. And she talks about in the video, and just really showed me the value that I can provide to the market and how to put that together in a way that people will want to pay me what I deserve to be paid. Because again, she had spent a lot of years learning the skill sets that she had learned. So she had a lot to offer people. So your offer system, your value system is the most important fundamental in your business before you do anything else. If you don't get this right, the other things won't work. And one of the things that I say is, are you charging like a beginner for your services, or are you trying to stay in line with what your competition charges when you have more experience and you're better at what you do? I can't tell you the amount of people I come across on Facebook that have all of this brilliance. I had a conversation in an inbox conversation one day on Facebook with someone who had a PhD. She had to sell her house. She was flat broke because of all of the stuff she had been trying to do, which are all the mistakes I talked about. And she had been trying to build her business and it wasn't going anywhere. She had a PhD. She had this amazing background, this amazing experience, and she literally could have gone to get one client at very, very premium fees with all of the knowledge and expertise that she had, but she had fallen into the trap that I like to call it the Facebook trap, quite honestly. She had fallen into that process and she ended up being flat broke. And I just see that over and over again. So it's very, very heartbreaking to see that happen when people have amazing skill sets and knowledge and wisdom that they could be offering the world. So you need an irresistible premium, high ticket offer, high value offer. And you also have to really understand who your ideal clients are going to be for this. So one of the things that you have to do is you also often have to level up your clients. Not always. Sometimes a lot of those very premium clients are already sitting in your audience and in your network and in your connections and on your email list, but you're not getting them because your language is off, your marketing is off. They don't even think you're for them. And so a lot of times when I work with clients, we are able to go right out to their network, just like Janine, and we are able, to get them clients very, very quickly for those ultra premium fees by just making the shifts that I'm talking about. Also, your premium offer, you have to solve a bigger problem or a pain. You have to give a bigger outcome or a bigger result or a transformation that your clients deeply want. One of the best ways I could explain this would be, let's say you put an offer out there that you just help people build a Facebook group. Okay. I can help you build a Facebook community. Well, a lot of people can do that, right? You could probably pick up a, $17 course and learn how to build a Facebook group. But now if someone puts an offer out there and they say, I can help you build a Facebook group that can probably make you 7 figures in 12 months, all of a sudden, do you see the value change? Same thing, except the language is different and the offer is different. The perceived value has gone up significantly. So this is one way that you can see the difference in just languaging and just the marketing message and all of that changing. Now, you have to be able to back up what you say, of course. You have to be able to get people the results. But again, so often people don't have these things dialed in, and it's why they could never even conceive being able to get premium clients, because all the people that are coming to them would never pay that. Well, there are people out there that would pay it, but you're not reaching them. Your message is not reaching them. What you're selling is not reaching them. So it has to have an ultra high perceived value, and you have to be able to clearly articulate and communicate the value and the exact method you use to show them how you actually do what you say you do. And I am showing it to you right now. I'm actually teaching you exactly how I get you these results, or how I get my clients these results, or how you can implement this into your business. I'm giving you the step-by-step breakdown. So your value system must be packaged in the right way. And again, imagine if you were closing clients for 3 to 10 times more than what you're currently charging. What if you were getting clients for $25,000, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 or much more? This is one of my clients, Wendy. I actually just did a post about her on my Facebook page yesterday, and I did a Facebook Live in my group. One of the things I forgot to put in this is Wendy actually blew her $300,000 a year goal out of the water and bought her dream home in under 5 months. And if you're interested in hearing more about that story, you can jump into my Facebook group and you can catch that live in there. But Wendy was charging $9,600 for her top offer. She had been in her business for years. She was already in a coaching organization, and yet they were not moving her forward. She was just stuck. She was at about $7,000. Now, I did keep her last name out of this just for confidentiality, but she was making about $7,000 a month. So she had an okay business, but she was not getting the clients she wanted. She knew she had more to offer her clients. So we restructured her offers. We gave her 2 different offers. And within 60 days, it took us about 45 days to get everything in place. And then once we did, within 60 days, she actually took her recurring monthly revenue that's consistent and predictable from $7,000 to $35,000. But what I didn't share in this is that she also bought her dream home. That was one of her goals. And she wanted to run events from her home. And so she wanted to use her home as a business investment. So again, I go more into that story in the Facebook group yesterday, but she was able to accomplish those things in under 5 months when we started working together. So it was, again, it was a life changer for her. All right, shortcut number 2. Are you all still with me?
We're doing great.
Okay, perfect. Shortcut number 2 is your marketing system. And there's several moving parts to your marketing system, but most people don't have a system. They're out there on a wing and a prayer trying to get the next client, and that is not a system. So with a system, when you are trying to get ultra premium clients, you have got to position yourself as an expert and an authority. So ultra premium clients are looking for the best. They are willing to invest. They have the money, they have the resources, and they want the shortcut. And so they're going to look for the best person that can help them get that shortcut. So if you don't look like the expert or the authority, or that you're worth the money, you won't get those people. You will not attract them to you. You won't get them to book on your calendar. So this is the outside perception, and this is your positioning in the market. And I know Michelle and I hit on this a little bit the other day on the live that we did, or the networking thing that we did. So you have an outside perception and you have an inside reality, and they're two different things. How you treat your clients, what you do with your clients, that's your inside reality. But what they see when they first come across you or when they check you out, that's the outside perception, and that's positioning. And a lot of people don't have their positioning dialed in. And so these premium clients a lot of times overlook them or don't even know they exist. So your outside perception, you have to stand out. You have to look different from your competition. So you have to be the yellow rose in the red patch of roses. You have to completely stand out. And you must have a clear and compelling message that speaks right to your ideal clients. And your message must resonate with them. So a good example of this is, if I am trying to sell hamburgers to vegans, it is never going to work. It doesn't matter how much I market, how much content I put out there, how much value I give, they are never going to buy. And so if your message is not on point, and this is not all dialed in, you'll miss out on those opportunities with those clients. So you have to clearly understand what they want, how they buy, and then what is the message that will speak right to them to attract them, to grab their attention, and then pull them into your ecosystem. This is all part of your marketing system. And you need a marketing system to help you get visible to your perfect clients. I know Michelle does a lot of visibility things. I do as well. You must be able to rise above the noise of everyone else and grab their attention to magnetically pull them to you with interest. You all came here today because you were interested in this topic. And so attention is the new gold. However you can get attention in the marketplace today, whether that's online or offline, it's currency. It is currency to your business. This is why influence marketing is so valuable right now, because it's attention. So you also want to make sure that you're pre-nurturing your prospects to build credibility and trust that you are the specialist and the only choice. No one has my background. No one has my process. I have my own way of doing things. I didn't copy someone else. I came up with my own system through a lot of trial and error, a lot of pain, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I like to say. And there were some tears. And no one has what I have. And there might be people out there doing similar things, but they have their own way. So you have to make sure that you pre-nurture your prospects so that they're very clear about what you do when they come to you. And I like to say they're almost pre-sold and they already trust you because of all of the things that you're putting out there in your marketing. It builds that trust, it builds that value, and they really do believe that you are the person that can help them. There's nothing more powerful than someone booking on your calendar saying, I came across you. I do not know how. I saw a video. I went and checked you out. I looked at everything over the weekend. I know you're exactly who I'm looking for. That is a closed sale that you literally don't have to do anything to persuade the person to buy. And to me, that is the best way to make sales. Also, you don't want people price shopping you. So when you look like everyone else, or you look like a jack of all trades, you're kind of putting yourself in the category of everyone else. And if your prospects can't see the difference in you and everyone else, they begin to compare prices. And so when you're doing this, when you're putting together your offers, come up with your own name for it. Come up with your own, again, show your system, map out your system for people so they can see that it's not exactly like what other people do. All of these things really create really create the differentiation of you and everyone else out there. And when people know that they can only get this thing from you, they're not price shopping. They're not going to go out and try to find someone else, because it's like comparing apples to oranges. You just can't do it. So your marketing system, a lot of people have gaps and they have missing pieces, and their marketing's not doing the heavy lifting for them to bring them perfect clients who can afford their higher ticket services. So you need a marketing system dialed in that is consistent and predictable, and it's rinse and repeat, and you can do it over and over again. Whoops. So one of the things that I do is with my process, I actually go into all the marketing. We map out your strategy. We figure out where these perfect clients are, what message, what strategy you need to put behind what you're doing in your marketing so that it becomes very focused, and we work until we get it working. And that's the difference. You don't have to do a million things. You don't have to be distracted. We just focus and we tweak it and we shift it until it works perfectly for you, and it's predictable and it's dependable. And that's a really important thing to know in your marketing. Also, I want you to know, like I said earlier, you probably have people right now sitting in your connections, in your network and on your email list that would buy more from you. They would pay you higher fees. They would invest more into your services. But if you don't have that for them to buy, they don't even know that you're for them, or they don't even know that you offer that. This is one of my clients. She's still a client. She's actually been a client for a few years now. She's an interior design consultant. And when she came to me, she was just out there selling interior design for homes and things like that. But we restructured her to give her positioning in the marketplace, working with luxury clients. And she closed 10 new higher paying clients for $10,000 to $80,000 each in 30 to 90 days during the pandemic. So here's the thing to understand also about premium clients. They are not going to be affected by something like a pandemic or by a change in the economy or a shift in the economy. It will have little effect on them. They still have money, they still buy, they still invest. And that's exactly what happened with Sharon. Sharon's working on building, she's getting her business to $1 million. She'll probably hit that this year. And she has a very small team. She runs with just a couple of people. She just has her system and process so dialed in. She has a young daughter, so she runs her business with a young daughter. She's a single mom, and she has time to do that, and she has this lucrative, amazing business. Shortcut number 3 is your sales system. So you've got your offer, your value system, your marketing system, your sales system. So you have to be able to close these higher premium clients. And often this is where a lot of people get hung up. So they get the other things working, they're working really good, they're getting great prospects, great leads, and then they struggle with the closing piece of it. But this is where the money is made. It's not in anything else. This is where the transaction actually happens. So you've got to get the sales piece dialed in. So I have to ask you, are you getting on calls with people who can't afford your services, or too many people that you speak with go away? Oh, I have to think about it. And then you never hear from them again. This can be a marketing problem, but it can also be a sales problem. If your marketing does the heavy lifting, you should be getting the right leads coming to you. And then I already talked about the emails. Are you writing and emailing endless proposals and chasing prospects to get them to sign, or getting too many proposal rejections? One thing I will tell you, a good takeaway if you are doing any kind of proposal work, is never email a proposal. Never email a proposal. I have to say that again, because it will go in the black hole of emails. So you'll never get you will hardly ever get a response back from that client. You always want to go over the proposal with them. So you always want to book another call with them. You want to go over that proposal with them. This will significantly increase your sales conversion. So if you don't fix your sales system, you're going to leave a lot of money on the table that could be going into your bank account. And if you've done all the heavy lift, all the hard work to get people coming to you, you don't want to lose them at the finish line. You want to actually make that happen. You want to close them into a paying client, into a paying customer, because you can't help them if you don't do that. So a lot of people don't think to really dial in their sales process. When I decided to go premium and really start charging what I felt I had to offer the business people out there that I was working with, I actually invested a lot of money in a very premium sales coach who taught me how to close those more premium clients. And that was many, many years ago. Now I teach similar, I've created sort of my own process along the way through the years, but I now teach this to my clients because, again, it's something that they struggle with. It's very different going from a $500 sale to a $50,000 sale. It's not harder. It's actually easier to close those clients if you have the right people in front of you, but it is different. And that's what a lot of people have to dial in. This was one of my clients, Shannon, who was a wedding and events consultant, and she was chasing prospects. She was missing out on getting clients because she didn't have a good sales process. She got great leads. She had people coming to her. She was a great marketer, but she wasn't closing the deals. And when we fixed this, she began closing 5-figure sales in one conversation. And here was the other thing. I remember fixing her process in about 2 hours. We tweaked it and shifted it, and she went back to people that didn't originally buy, and she closed them. And so that's how powerful the right sales process can be for people. So your sales system is about what happens before the sale, what happens during the sale, and after a sales conversation to get a yes. And a lot of people don't realize that a sales system is really 3 parts. So it's the before. You want everything doing the heavy lifting to bring you the right people. You want to make sure that you've got a qualifying process in place so that when they book on your calendar, they're qualified. You know you're going to be in front of the right people. Those are all things that I teach my clients to do. And then during the sale, during that conversation, I teach a very simple conversation, a very natural conversation to really uncover if they're the right fit for you. And really the sales conversation to me is just a second qualifying step. If you've already qualified them, you're in front of the right person. This is just sort of that next step. To really qualify them even further. And at the same time, they're trying to figure out if they want to work with you. That's fine. And then what happens after that sale? If you're sending a proposal, you want to get back on a call with them. If they don't buy, you want to get them into some sort of an email list or a community so that you can stay in front of them and keep nurturing them, because maybe they just weren't quite ready for whatever reason. And again, I get very little of this anymore. I used to get more. My clients don't get much of this once we really tweak and dial things in. They don't have a lot of rejection because we qualify pretty hard to make sure that our time is not going to be wasted on a sales call. So when you're trying to get more time and freedom back into your life, all of these things take time out of your life and away from really growing your business. If you're spending time chasing clients with proposals, or you're spending time on a lot of calls that aren't closing, that is all time that you could be doing other things. And that's, you could be traveling or spending that time with your family, or just spending time growing your business. So your sales system is when your positioning is right, your offer is right, your marketing system is dialed in, you'll get the perfect prospects coming to you eager to buy. I help you simplify your sales process to leverage your time, clearly communicate your offer. You also have to be able to really articulate things with confidence and convert prospects into higher paying clients with one conversation, almost always one conversation. And then without spending endless hours writing and emailing proposals that are wasting your time. Shortcut number 4 is leverage and scale. So this is where you can really multiply your money and grow while getting more time and freedom from your business. This is where a lot of time people get stuck in fulfillment. So they're doing too much. They're giving away too much time to their clients. They're doing too much of the work, too much of the load. And that's why a lot of times they're the bottleneck in their business. They really get hung up. Many businesses begin to fall apart and fail when they're growing and scaling. And I will tell you, I can't even tell you how many I've worked with that were on the brink of failure. I have turned around so many businesses, not just entrepreneurs, but small business owners as well, that were about to lose everything because they didn't understand how to grow and scale in a profitable way. So all of these things are important. You've got to have systems. You've got to minimize your expenses. You've got to make the highest profits that you can with the least amount of effort. That's the gist of building a lucrative and successful, sustainable business. When you're an entrepreneur or you're a solopreneur, you've got to remove yourself from chief everything officer to a true CEO of your business. You've got to start thinking like a CEO. One of the reasons I love a premium business model is because you can move into CEO and you can still do all the things you love. I still work personally with all of my clients. I don't have a team that works with my clients, and I don't need a team because I don't work with a million clients. So I don't need all that. So there's a couple ways to scale a business, but I am able to also manage. When I say I don't have a team, I mean a team working, coaching or consulting my people. I have a team that does a lot of my marketing and does my website and does my podcast and things like that. But I'm the CEO of my company. I run the show. I manage my team. I get to still do all the things I love, which is what makes this business model so special to me, at least, because a lot of people don't want to give up working with their clients. They still want to do that, but you can't do that if you're overwhelmed and trying to do a million things and wear a million hats. If you're spending more than 10 to 12 hours yourself doing the thing you sell, you're already losing money. And a lot of people don't realize this, but it is truth. So if you're spending more than 10 to 12 hours actually doing fulfillment, you are giving up time working on your business. Unless you have a team doing it for you, that's different. But if you don't, you are losing money. The other thing is you can't be so stuck in the weeds in your business that you can't see everything that's going on. You have to be able, again, to put on that CEO hat and run your business like a CEO would. You have to develop systems that leverage your time without giving up the quality of your services. So a lot of times quality goes down. I can't tell you how many marketing companies I've hired only to be frustrated because once they brought you on board, it was horrible. They never cared about you. You could never get a hold of them. They wouldn't change anything. There were so many things that they would not do once they brought you on board. It was kind of like make the sale and then, they didn't care. And so that to me is your service is suffering. And it's just like I said, I still want to coach people. To me, that means that I can control the quality of the services that I'm putting out there and the results that I'm helping my clients get. And it's a really important thing when you're growing and scaling to higher levels that you do not let the quality of your services go down because it will be your demise. So it's important to have the right systems, automation, building the right team, and really growing while maintaining the quality and integrity of the services that you deliver. So this is the leverage and scale part. It's the piece that has to be done. It's important for it to be done. It's step number 4 for it to be done. But a lot of people don't do this they don't do things in the right sequence like I'm talking about here. And it's why when they start growing to a certain level, things just start falling apart. I have worked with multi-million-dollar businesses that were literally falling apart because they were growing so fast and they didn't have any infrastructure in place. They had no systems in place. They weren't managing the team and literally almost lost everything. So it's such an important piece of growing to higher levels. This is one of my clients, Nick, went from $0 to $80,000 in 1 week after we got my method in place. But here was also the cool thing. He had been trying for 6 months to launch a new business and it wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't even getting calls booked. He hadn't made one sale. And he came to me and he said, Ann, I have 90 days to turn this around or I have to go get a job. And he was a referral from a past client. So he was an easy sale. But when he came to me, he did say, I have 90 days or I have to go get a job because I'm out of funds. But here's what happened. We implemented this whole system that I'm telling you about. And he did almost 7 figures his first year. We created such a rinse and repeat business with everything that I'm showing you that he was able to actually go out and hire a team to just run things for him. Now, with this particular business, he did it offline. He did not do this business online. He decided to do trade shows. So he was working with chiropractors with his system or with his process. And his original sale was $7,000. We took that to $25,000. And he went out to a chiropractor trade show, I guess you would call it a trade show, where hundreds of chiropractors were going to show up. He got a booth. We dialed in the right marketing, the right process, the right way to get them into his booth. We knew the message that would resonate with them. I helped him dial in all these pieces. And he closed $80,000 actually that one weekend. It was a 2-day event and he closed $80,000. But then he was able to take that same exact process and go out and rinse and repeat in other states and do the same thing. So they just recreated it and it was such a game changer. So that's the power of this too. It's extremely scalable. All right, shortcut number 5, and this will be no surprise to anyone probably, is speed. How fast do you want these things to happen? You can do the slow path, trying to figure it all out, going down all the rabbit holes, chasing the shiny objects, losing the focus, all the things that a lot of people are out there doing, the DIY method, I like to call it. I did all that. But I found that my fastest path was working with someone who's already been there, done it, is doing it, is an expert, can move me rapidly. And once I learned the power of working with someone that could help me just implement, like the coach that I said I hired for a lot of money to help me close those higher value clients, I had a return on my investment with one sale. So it was such a no-brainer to invest that money. Was it scary to turn out, to invest those big dollars? Absolutely it was, but it was worth every dime. And who knew I would be teaching this to people as well. So you can do things a slow way, but obviously working with an expert is always going to give you faster leaps. And it's also, I always say, you're going to pay one way or the other in your business. So you can either pay with mistakes and wasting money like a lot of people do, or you can just invest the money and you can get the help that's going to get you the better results. I want you to know that this is hard to put together for yourself because I struggled with this. And it took me a really long time trying to figure out how to put all these pieces together. And even when my clients come to me, they have so many things they could be offering. They don't know their fastest path. They don't know what the biggest opportunity for them is. And it's easy for me to sit back and extrapolate that value from them and go, oh, here's your thing. Here's what you could be offering. Here's what you could be charging. And it's just so much easier for an outside person that does this over and over again to help people see what they cannot see for themselves. Over and over again, I see people so undervaluing what they have to bring to the market because they really don't understand their own value. They don't understand what they really could be bringing and also what they could be charging. So it doesn't make any sense to waste time or miss out on money trying to figure all these things out for yourself when you can work with someone who can give you a high level of support to reach the goals and even land clients for 3 times more, maybe even in the next 30 to 90 days, like many of my clients. I've even helped people do it in 3 days and in a week. So it really depends on where they're at when they come to me. But a lot of times, if they've already got things going in their business and they've already been doing work, this can happen really very quickly, often. So how would you like to be able to do this in your business? If you are interested in having a conversation with me or learning how you can implement this into your business or getting help to do this, then I really just want to invite you to book a strategy call with me. I'm also going to answer your questions now that we're at the end of this. But if you want to book a call with me, it's very simple. Just go to acarden.com. You can book right on my calendar. It will take you to an application form to fill out that gives me all the information about you. And here is always my promise to people. If I don't feel like it's a good fit, I will let you know, and I won't waste your time. And I never take on clients that I do not believe I can help. I know there are a lot of people out there chasing money, and they will do that. I do not. My results are extremely important to me. It's the success of my business. And so if I feel like someone's not in the right mindset, or they don't have the skill set, or they don't have the right things in place that I know we are going to need to be able to make this happen in their business, I kindly tell them I'm not the right fit for them. So that is maybe where I'm very different from other people. The other thing is I don't want to waste their time, their money. I don't want to waste my time either. So that's really important to me. And that keeps me, I want to stay in integrity in my business. That's such an important piece to me. But if you are interested, go ahead and book a call. So I am going to stop sharing my screen.
So if you are interested in asking Ann a question, please raise your hand through the emoji reaction section so that I can identify and go ahead and call you to the stage. This is your chance, guys. She covered amazing amounts of material, and I know each one of you is probably thinking, oh, how can I apply this? Oh, what do I need to think? Oh, maybe okay. There's probably a lot of questions that came up in your mind. So this is the time to possibly get an answer right now from this amazing woman. And
I am here to help.
So Cynthia, please unmute and go ahead and ask your question.
I see a lot of things in the chat. Are there questions in the chat, or you've just been
no questions in the chat? Cynthia, are you able to unmute?
I just did. When I tapped on it, it went off screen. I had to bring it all back. So my question is, how does that concept work with someone who wants to do professional speaking, has a book? If you're not running a business per se, or have a product per se, I am my product.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things that you can do, first of all, there often are ways that speakers, and I don't know what you charge, and I actually can't even see you. I'm sure you're on here somewhere. I don't even see
I only have my picture up because I work from home. I'm still in my robe.
Oh, no worries. I have jeans on under, on my bottom here.
If we could see everybody from the waist down when we did it, right?
Like the commercials that are out there, right? It's pretty funny. So one thing that I will tell you is I know a lot of speakers that could raise their fees and they don't. And sometimes it comes down to how they're marketing their business. So a lot of times there are ways, and I actually teach people how to go get speaking engagements and things like that. I do public speaking as well. And there's so often are times that they could be raising their fees and they're not. So there is a strategy that kind of goes behind this. One quick thing that I can tell you too is that as a speaker, you've got opportunity to add other services to your speaking. I think it's almost a shame when people go out and speak and they don't give people a way to work with them deeper. So you could add coaching, you could add a product, you could add a course, a program of some kind, a 6-week program to give you. What do you speak on? Was it Cynthia? Is that what you said, Cynthia?
Yes, I do have a course that I do. It's called Creating the Perfect Blend, because I'm in the Seattle area and I love coffee. but
Mhm.
it's, what is the best business for you? Because everything isn't for everyone.
Mhm.
And what I'm moving towards now, because I've battled 4 cancers. I was given 6 months to live in 2009. So I just reached out to like the American Cancer Society, Susan G. Komen,
Mhm.
but I want to take it further than that, because my thing is the never give up mentality,
Mhm.
right? It's about mindset.
Yes.
And what are you thinking? What are the things you're saying to yourself in the quiet moments? Not that you're telling everybody else, I'm going to beat this. Don't worry. I'm going to get through it.
Mhm.
But what are you saying to you? And so, and I was fired from 2 jobs because of cancer. And so I tell people, be prepared,
Mhm.
and look, then COVID came and everybody
Yes.
lost their jobs because of an illness. Right. And
Mhm.
I was already familiar with that. I was like, well, hey, welcome to my side. And so that's what I speak on, is about being prepared. You know, I wrote a book. I put it out on Amazon. Les Brown is writing the forward to my second book. And I'm a certified Les Brown speaker.
Mhm.
And yeah, and in all of this, I earned an honorary doctorate for my works in helping others. But here's the thing, I've been helping others for free. I
Yeah,
just keep,
most
people will
are.
say, well, oh, will you come and share your story? And I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
And I keep going and sharing my story, but
Yeah, so I think, Cynthia, one thing that you have to determine, and it's like I said earlier, you put the oxygen mask on yourself first. I say you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you are struggling to pay your bills, if you're struggling with cash flow to grow your business, how much can you really give to people? I even, teach this with life coaches. They say, well, money doesn't matter. And I say, look, money's going to come up in every conversation you ever have with a client. I know it will. If you don't have yourself in a good place financially, can you really show up as your best, or are you going to be stressing out? So to me, I would say the same thing to you, Cynthia. If you're not making money, if you want to just go out and speak for free, then by all means do that. But if you're looking to build an income stream, then you've got to treat it like a business. And so you have your things that you go out and you actually treat it like a business, and you get your speaking gigs that will pay you. And then you have your give backs. I also do speak for free. I will do it as well. A lot of times I speak for free to sell my services, but I also do speak for free to give back. And so you have to determine those things, but you have to keep them separate. You're either a charity or you're a business, and you've got to treat them like a charity or a business. They're 2 separate things. So a lot of times people blur the lines instead of getting very clear. The other thing I will tell you is, if you could, it would probably take a little bit of restructuring on what you're speaking on, because you've got this incredible, amazing story, and praise God that you are healthy and you're able to go out and share and inspire and bring your story to the world. But you've also probably got an opportunity to transition that a bit so that you could build a coaching program into that. And let's say, for example, you go out to a corporation. What are some key points or some key takeaways that, even though that's your story, it would still apply to them in their company? It would apply to their employees. And let's say that you package that along with coaching, and now you've got a bigger offer that you can actually sell, or you package that along with all of your books that you give out to that corporation. Now you're selling something more premium. So it's about innovating and getting creative, but there's so many ways you can do this. There's just so many ways. And I'm just giving you a very high level answer here because I don't know enough. I really dig into a lot of details when I do this with people. I make it sound like, oh, it's just that easy, but there's a process to it. There is a real process to it that's why I get paid to do what I do, because it does take a lot of digging in, and we really have to work through all the different opportunities that they have. But you can do this, Cynthia. It really comes down to, what is it you want to do in your business, and how do you want it to turn out as a business as well? Is that helpful?
yeah, absolutely. And that's really the path I've been on. I've been doing this for years now, and I have, excuse me, done some coaching, created the courses, turned the concept to make it fit to each individual audience. And I know to stay in my lane, there's places where I don't belong
Mhm.
speaking, you know, and I am with a speakers bureau list. The bottom fee is 5,000 and
Mhm.
up from there. Here's the problem: getting people to hire you, right? Getting to the stages. And just recently, my husband had a stroke and no longer works. So financially,
Mhm.
I'm in no position anymore to continue to pay people like Les Brown and, you know, all these other different things that, you know, previously it was okay, because if I didn't bring in an income, he still had one.
Mhm.
But that's not the case anymore. So now I'm in a predicament.
Cynthia, connect with me on LinkedIn, because I have someone who is a speaker coach, or not a speaker coach. She books people. She gets people booked. It might be worth a conversation with her. I don't know what she charges. A lot of them they'll charge 25 or 30%, but they'll do all the heavy lifting for you. They'll get you booked. You know, they'll help you get your fees to where you need to be. So connect with me on LinkedIn and I will find her. She's in my network. I'm trying to think of her name. It's not coming to me off the top of my head, but I'm happy to connect you to her and see if there might be an opportunity. But there are a lot of other people out there that book speakers, and that might be a faster path for you to go to than trying to do it on your own. And a lot of times they'll help you get all the right things dialed in, and you know, they'll actually go out and get you booked. So I would say that might be a better path for you.
And that's always a better way. I love when people look at it that way. Look, if you're going to create an income based on something I've helped you with, let me have a percentage. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Because when you're at zero trying to come up and somebody says, well, I need, you know, $10,000 to continue. And you're like, uh, okay, have a nice day. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, but I have to speak to that. Okay. And I'll tell you why, because business isn't free. And it's kind of like I said, you're either going to invest the money or you're going to lose the money trying on your own, the DIY method, buying millions of courses, buying, you know, so you're going to have an investment either way. And people don't realize that when they're starting their business. And it's one of the things that I really talk about. So I want to encourage you really, or anyone on here that's starting a business, shift your mindset around that. If you had to go out and rent a building and get a staff, you know, every business I've built had overhead. My online business is the first time I didn't have overhead, but I've probably spent over $250,000 to learn everything I've learned to build my business to the level that I have. And now what I teach people. And I had no idea I would have to invest that kind of money, but that is what it took, because I invested in a lot of the wrong things. I never think anything's a waste, because I learned something from everything and it brought me to where I am. So I really have to speak about that. And I'm always very bold and honest about things, because if you don't realize this, if you do not realize that you are a business and everyone can't work for free. And even if you go out and find a speaking coach, it doesn't mean they'll take you on there, you know, but it's worth it. It's worth a conversation. And that's up to them to decide. You know, they have to also be very selective, because they're in business to make money. So it isn't always feasible for people to give away until you get the result. It's like if I work with a startup, I can't give away my services until they get a result, because it's a long haul sometimes when you're a startup. It just is. You just have to do the work. And does that make sense?
Yeah, and I also
Oh,
want to just,
absolutely. 100%. I'm sorry.
yeah, I just want to mention that I did put Anne's link. If you would like to reach out to her, she is offering a consultation. It would be a really good opportunity for her to get a little bit more deeper understanding of your business and how she might be able to, like she said, she can identify whether she can help you or not, or maybe like she was saying, she can introduce you to somebody that might be able to help you right here and now, if it's not a good fit for you to work with Anne right here and now. So let's go ahead and have you reach out to her. I want to go ahead and move on to Joe, who's been patiently waiting to go ahead and ask your question,
Hi,
Joe.
Looks like you and I both have the studio microphones, so that's great.
This is about my third one. I keep breaking them.
Oh, I've gone to 3 myself actually, and even got a green screen behind me as well. But as you can see from my name, actually I do work in IT services.
Mhm.
I've been running my business unsuccessfully, unfortunately, for about nearly 30 years. And probably because I got to do some fine tuning, and being I've been working 20 years in tech itself, from doing websites, more recently been actually encouraged to use my voice to do voiceovers, audiobooks, in addition to the support that I've been doing for so long, and even doing website designings and developments, writing as well, to work on knowledge basing for ticketing systems. The majority of the work itself that I've been doing is a lot more kind of like partially hands-on, as well as guidance to coach people to understand not to be so abrasive with technology. And now with this past nearly 2 years of this pandemic, has actually been forcing people to really embrace the technology, because they had no other choice. Whether it be their phone, tablet, or computers, laptops, whatever it is, they actually have to really step in. And I think the biggest area that I'm taking the advice you've actually been offering, and looking forward to the presentation as well. It's going to be more static based, but I'm just really trying to more define further with all my abilities, or with my voice than anything else. Because I've been always told so many times, you got a broadcast voice. Have you ever worked in broadcasting? Well, fundamentally, yes, but not officially, because I worked in TV on the back end, never worked in radio, but I have that kind of voice from what I've been told. The thing is that my technical knowledge, being certified, as well as all the experience I've had, I'm trying to find further, really focusing specifically, where is my journey going to take me? Where's my real passion? Now, I enjoy writing. I also loved to speak, even though I'm a high critic to my own voice, as most of us are. We don't like hearing ourselves, depending on the person. However, where to take that is the biggest question. And you mentioned high ticket items. I've been trying to define my worth for a long time. How high do I want to go? Do I want to go 5 figures? Do I want to stay on 4 figure? Or do I want to stay as modest as I've been, charging like $125 for like a single project that somebody might give me, which to me is like an insult to my own intelligence. I'm like, okay, I got a bachelor's degree. I'm worth more than that.
Yeah. First of all, you don't want to do hourly. That is such a broken business model that will keep you broke, just so you know. So you don't want to do that. But here's the thing. What I'm hearing, did you all hear? He's got a million things that he can do. And it sounds like he can do them very well. He's been doing this for a long time. So I will tell you, Joe, I can't give you an answer, because this, I can already tell from talking to you, this would mean we would have to work together before I could really just figure out what is your best path. There's so many things that go into the process that I dig into. There's so many factors that we consider. How many hours do you want to work? How many clients do you want to work with? How do you want to build your business? What do you want your future to look like? What's your vision? All of that comes into structuring your business model. And people don't realize that. So it's like you set the goals first, and then we reverse engineer, and then we figure out, okay, how can we make that happen? So I'll just give you a very quick example. Let's say you want to have a $500,000 business and you only want to work with 10 clients. That's it. You don't want any more. You want freedom. You've got kids. You want life. All of that. You know now that you have to put together a $50,000 offer. That needs to be your goal. How can you put together a $50,000 offer? Who would that $50,000 offer be for? Who would invest in that $50,000 offer? All of that has to come first. So one thing that people do is they go, okay, I think I'm going to sell this. This is the price I'm going to put on it. And they never think about their goals. And I teach just the opposite. Set the goals, and then let's create the offers to match the goals and figure out who those offers can be for. So I can't really answer that for you, but what I will tell you is, if you've got expertise and experience for 20 years and you're charging $125, if I could come through this computer right now and hit you over the head with my book, I would stop
this, man.
Stop the madness. Stop the madness. So no, you have a huge opportunity. But yes, all those things that I talked about, those are all pieces of the puzzle. And it isn't an easy process. It's not. Like I said, I spent a fortune learning this, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I almost quit. I mean, I can't tell you what I've gone through to really dial this process in, but you do have opportunity. You do. And, you have part of going through the process is determining what really lights you up. What if you could only wake up and do one thing every single day, what would that be? That's what we need to be focused on. How can we make that really, really valuable? and give it a really high perceived value. And here's the other thing. When I work with somebody might come to me for high ticket, like I want to learn how to do a premium client, right? But now I know I can also help them build out courses. I can help them, do their funnels. I can help them do all those other things that are different layers in their business. I could keep a client for years. Their business never stops. It never ends. So one thing that people think is, oh, if I only sell this, then I'm losing all this other business. No, if you sell that and you get people in, it's like Sharon, who I shared earlier, she's been with me for years. She came in to work with me and she never left because business doesn't stop. There's always new challenges. There's always new things. I always say the sky is not the limit when there are footprints on the moon. So when you're in a business, there are no limits to what you can accomplish. It really comes down to what you want and what you're willing to do for
I'm
it.
about to say to you, we're limited by our own self.
Absolutely.
How much imagination do we have? Right.
I want to share a story too as we wrap this up. I am going to go ahead and wrap this up. It's been an hour and a half of amazingness.
We're having so much fun.
Yeah, it's super great. We're so thankful and appreciative of your just wonderful volume of expertise that you just shared with us over the last hour.
Thank you.
The thing that I can say here is that as an entrepreneur, you need to have that coach that helps you get that clarity. There are coaches that will help with this. There are coaches that will help with that. But from what Ann just said, she's going to take a look at the whole thing and then actually help you implement the thing that you need to create to attract the person so that you can step away from being that $125 thing versus,
immediately
set yourself apart. I'm a big advocate of helping you rise above the sea of digital noise. There's so much going on out there. If you can solve bigger problems by just putting better packages together, that would be huge. But it's also going to be about exactly what lights you up and helping you make sure that what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for big time success, because there's passion involved, there's clarity involved, there's the packaging and the pricing, because packaging is really where it's at these days. People aren't so interested in a la carte. They're actually a lot more interested, especially the higher volume. Like she said, they won't come through a funnel. So think about that for a second and just stop focusing on the funnel then and just start figuring out how to focus on these bigger value packages. It's going to be a huge transformational shift, but the confidence that you need as an entrepreneur will only come if you work with somebody who helps you continually breathe life into your own self, because if you don't believe it, it won't ever happen. So, Anne just seems, doesn't she just seem so genuine and authentic? I love the fact that she said, hey man, if it's not a good fit, don't believe me. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want your money if it's not going to be a good fit. That feels really nice, because there's so many thirsty entrepreneurs out there that are just willing to sell you whatever that they think you need to hear, and then they don't fulfill. So I can't say enough how much confidence and reaffirmation when I bought into, invested into, helping me learn how to see the bigger value in what all I can bring. It was transformational. And that little shift in mindset happened within a week. And all of a sudden, my posturing changed, my confidence changed, my words changed. It was amazing. So please hear me when I say it's not about having a ton of coaches. Sometimes it's a matter of having one or maybe two just stellar coaches. So with that, is there any last words, Anne, before we say thank you so much again for showing up?
No, I just, I really hope that this was helpful to people. And again, it's hard. I can only give you high level, because until I'm digging into your business with you, I don't want to give you the wrong advice, but I can tell you charging by the hour is broken. So stop. And, I can give you that kind of guidance, but, the thing is, I've never really found anyone that couldn't do what I'm talking about. I really have, unless they literally had no skills and they had nothing to offer, but typically I don't get them coming to me anyway, but I've never found anyone. So whether you work with me or do a call with me, or you just go do this on your own, I just want you to really trust that you probably could 3 times what you are charging. And it literally is just a matter of, going and try it and see. I mean, I think that there need to be all the other things with it too, but that doesn't mean you can't do it or try it. So a lot of times people can just sell things for more, and they have these beliefs that this is all people will pay. So I hope it was helpful.
So this recording will get sent out. If you're on our Tech with Heart mailing list, you will for sure get it. And we also are going to put it on our YouTube channel. If you know any other entrepreneurs that are just struggling, I mean, Anne's words do breathe life into many of our hearts and in our minds. So let's share the word. People need guidance. There's a whole lot of fear going on out there, and the fear genuinely is around, I don't know what I don't know. So they're not moving forward. So I'm glad you showed up here today. Thank you so much for showing
Thank
up.
you all.
Yes, and thank you, Anne. We appreciate you. And here is to your success, you guys. Go out there
Thank
and
you, and let's connect. I would love to connect with all of you. So, all right. Thanks
I
so
see
much,
some
Michelle.
networks
Thank
coming up
you.
in your LinkedIn, and so be looking forward to it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. All right.
bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.